Welcome to The Actor's Choice, where the actors and actresses have a chance to talk about themselves and their careers. Join us now for the next hour as we explore the marvelous industry of acting by actors and actresses from today's exciting show business world. And now, direct from Hollywood, here's your host, Ron Brewington.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Brewington, and welcome to The Actor's Choice. Roll it, Tony. Ladies and gentlemen, my first guest today is a Chinese-American artist with a versatile skill set that spans music, leadership, and entrepreneurship. Her musical interests span, and this is real, multiple genres, including a unique improvisation on an album created by Pope John Paul II that featured artists like Britney Spears, Aerosmith Smooth, and Justin Timberlake. Folks, what you just saw is a work that was composed and performed by her quartet called The Vortex. So, without further ado, please welcome, Lisa Lella.
Hey.
Bless you, and welcome to The Actor's Choice. Where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Pittsburgh, yes, I know Pittsburgh, yes. Gets cold up there sometimes.
It can be. It's been, yeah. It's a lovely city, though.
Tell us, who were some of your influences that make you who you are?
My first influence is definitely my mom. My mom was a opera singer. She went to Juilliard, so I think that was just like the goal for me when she was pregnant with me. It was like I think my future was planned out for me.
Like I tell people this, I said, listen, when it comes to mother and father, you might have 1,000 fathers, but you only get one mother.
That is true.
Hold on to that lady as long as you can.
Oh, yeah.
So what has been your musical journey?
My musical journey started listening to music constantly, just opera, classical music. I mean, I remember every morning through high school, from a child on, it was just like wake up and watch music videos of really famous classical music artists, people to just like study. And my house is just filled with music. My mom was always singing. She had students. She started me on piano. So I started as a pianist. I could barely like reach the keys, but I was determined to play piano, and it was like up here. Around maybe 8 years old, I started the violin, and I fell in love with that. So that's been my journey. That's how I started.
Quite a journey, lady.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, this lady has 120 music department. Wow. Wow. As they say in the business, when that word, Tony, not bad.
It's not bad.
In 2008, you had your first work. It was called Donut Shop Hero.
It's the first film I ever wrote music for. It was a tiny short film. I had never written anything in my life for TV film. And it just is basically still how my method still is. I just approach everything with the violin, or piano. And I had a lot of fun. I just improvised. I just saw like a scene, and it was exciting the first time for me to just see what like actors get to do. I was still living in New York at the time. So I had like no idea that a couple of years later I would move to LA and like really pursue performing on scores.
Donut Shop Hero.
Yeah.
You do most of your work, I'm told, in Hollywood. Please tell us, why is that?
It's really where the I don't know, it's where all the scoring is, right? Most of the scoring and for these films, they happen there. You have such a diverse musical career in Hollywood. Like there's so many orchestras, there's so many shows, TV streaming, movies. So it's like definitely the place of opportunity for a musician to have like a really diverse career.
Interesting. Interesting. I should note, ladies and gentlemen, that this lady has had a job every year since you started from 2008. Every year. The longest work year was 2016. That year you did 23 jobs that year.
So it's yeah, at least. Yeah. It's been a it's been a really amazing journey, just seeing the behind the scenes and getting to work with like it's Hollywood, right? So I mean, I think growing up, we're all fantasizing about being like these movies, and we grew up watching these movies and TV shows and looking up to these people, and being in Hollywood, getting to like see what happens behind the camera and be part of a whole big picture. You know, just be one little piece of like a big thing is has been so inspiring and fun.
You all, I have another video for you. This one is called Sadowski Guitar. There you are
Oh,
banging on the guitar.
that one is not that is not mine. I actually it's funny, I get mixed up with a guitar player a lot. We have the same name, but we have a she's in New York and but I've been getting mixed up with her just because of we have the same name for years, but that one is probably not me.
Okay, Tony, you heard it. Take it off, please. Take it
Yeah.
out.
If you
Can you
see
take it out
someone with a
quiet?
violin, that's probably me.
Can you take it out quietly?
Quietly.
Oh my goodness. You have a lot of upcoming work that I see. The problem
Yep.
with people where you're the orchestra contractor. What is an orchestra contractor?
So an orchestra contractor is a person who, say, like a production hires the composer needs to hire musicians for their show. So most recently, that project that just came out is Presumed Innocent on Apple TV with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Uh-huh.
So the composers hired me to hire a whole orchestra to record for the TV shows. So we get to watch, all the action on the screen while we record and play, and it's the most fun thing ever.
AI. How do you feel about it?
Got to work with it, got to use it. I think we can't fight it. I think the artists who want to fight and maintain, I think they're going to fall behind. So I think we have to embrace it and see how we can still have our own creative voices and utilize it to our benefit.
Oh, I have to bring that in because, like I said, you're doing one right now. The problem with people, the status on that is completed. Yeah, there's another one you're doing right now, Cash for Gold.
Yep.
You're also doing Magic Hour. Got a lot of stuff waiting
Got a
around.
lot, got a lot of stuff. Yeah. This week we're playing. I'm this week I'm a violinist, so I'm gonna play at the Hollywood Bowl. There's a live Barbie concert there.
Okay. That tells me something. What is
Yeah.
your favorite instrument?
Violin.
Why?
It's the closest thing to being a singer. That's what I think.
Did you hear that, folks? Did you hear that?
It's all it's the super emotional element. Like you hear strings when you're watching a movie, it's like something really tender or beautiful or I feel like it's the closest thing to a human voice.
Okay. It's been said in the industry, when it comes to TV and film, you got to have the music first.
Yes.
Music comes in first, and then the movie comes in second. Is that
Yeah.
true?
I'm gonna have to agree with that.
Why?
Because music sets the stage. You gotta know that something scary is behind that door once you hear that scary music.
You come from what they call in the business the music department. What does that mean?
It's kind of a general term because especially out in Hollywood, you wear so many hats, right? So one project I might be a composer, one project I might play violin, I might be a contractor, I could be orchestrating something, arranging music, could be producing something. It's all within the music, kind of a broad thing. But you definitely have to do many things, I think, as a musician, or you get to do many things as a musician.
your favorite person that you like in this business?
Oh my gosh, that is like, who's yours? Like,
Mm,
what am I saying? I'm gonna say whoever I'm working with right now is my favorite person.
you compose and conduct. How do you put a song together?
Uh it's kind of the making wearing multiple hats thing. I usually find inspiration from, well, the director is going to kind of have a music editor choose what music they want their film to sound mostly like, you know,
Yes.
what inspires them. And I work closely with, if I'm in the role of a composer, I'm working with the filmmakers, like what's their vision, what are they trying to convey musically? How can I best support the cast and whatever the vision is? And so that means really listening to and communicating clearly with the filmmaker, seeing what they want to be, what they want heard, and I sort of try to capture that sphere
Okay.
musically.
Okay. Speaking of capturing, Tony came along and found a violin of you playing called Advantages.
Oh yes, that was
Rolling. Advantageous. Ouch. Lisa, guess what I got?
was that.
Next.
That
Very nice, lady. Very nice.
was like that was a really fun. So I was playing
Thank you,
something
Tony.
called the baritone violin there.
Uh-huh.
Is like the violin, but it's much lower. So I get to play like many different special effects, and the composer Timo Chen, who was there, combined the sounds and came up with this brilliant score. Yeah.
You do television, you do film. Do you
Yeah.
do stage?
Yes. Also
You
do
do
that.
stage.
Do all of it as a whatever sounds fun at the time. I do that. So I just finished a tour with a EDM band called
Uh-huh.
Odessa, and we just played 3 sold out shows at Madison Square Garden, and that was
Yes.
a whole different, that's like me like headbanging on the stage with like fire and explosives.
I know that was a crazy question, but I just want to get it. I have to see if you how you get it out. That's spit it out.
Yeah.
Here's a picture that we have of you. When you got that one, there you go. Look at you standing up there with the wand in your hand. You're looking GOOD. That means
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
good. Looking good. Next one, Tony, please. Who is that young man right there?
That is my husband, Mitch Henson.
Got you. All right. Lucky man. Lucky man. Who's next?
Yeah, that's me in the pink hat. So that's a typical session that we'll have. We'll have, we'll watch whatever show or movies being filmed. There's a there's probably a screen you can't see in the photo, but that's above us.
Oh, I got your
Yeah.
pink hat on. Is that something
That's
that you wear all the
pink hat.
time?
Sometimes.
Okay.
I like the hat.
Yes. And look at this one. Thank you, Tony. Look at this one. She's doing it.
Yeah.
Wow. Is there any special music that you like to do?
It's funny, I love hip hop. I years ago coming out of Juilliard, I just started playing in hip hop bands, which is like the complete opposite of my training. And I have loved the music, the community, and it's was what I listened to in the car
Got
on
you.
my own.
Got you.
Yeah.
Where do you get an idea for a song?
It's got to come from some sort of inspiration.
Okay.
For me, some emotional inspiration. So I think it has to start with that, or it's kind of doesn't feel sincere.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting that I know a lot of people in the industry, they carry a little device along with them. So whenever they get an idea, boom, 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 and then they tape it.
Yeah.
Do you do that also?
I do that. I never listen back to them, but I do record them. 'Cause I think it's like sounds great at the time, but then I'm like, I know. But I think it's important to just at least get that out
Gotcha.
of your body.
Over the years, you've seen a lot of changes in this industry. Give us an idea. What do you think?
It's what you brought up earlier. We've got to adapt to AI. It's technology is really sweeping across all of our different like everywhere, right? It's
Yes.
affecting all the different industries. And I think that's been the biggest change. And also for streaming, of course. Streaming has just like changed everything for all of us.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I understand that you had a day job, and that was teaching violin to hundreds of kids in the South Bronx.
That's what I did in my 20s. I used to teach violin and piano. I did that 6 years. Absolutely loved it. I'm still friends with a lot of these kids that are not kids anymore. That was 20 years ago, but I'm going to one of my students' weddings in a few weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, those kids mean a lot to me.
That's good. You went to Juilliard. Did you ever go back there sometime and have they ever get in touch with you and sit and say, look at what she did?
Yeah, I spoke to their entrepreneurship symposium a few years ago to talk about, I'm all grown up now.
Okay. Well, Lisa, I just want to say one thing. Thank you for coming out today and spending some time with us. I wish we had more time. We would love to have you come back.
Would love that.
You are indeed a pleasure. Okay. All I can say is thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lisa Leon. Okay. This is the Actor's Choice. I'm your host, Ron Brewington. Hello, Tony. I'm going to cut that out so that we can. Sorry, my bad. Okay, can we move on to the next one? Because I want to keep time is up. There you go. Hello, Tony. My bad.
Hello, Detective Jeffords.
Do I know you?
You arrested me 10 years ago. You testified at my trial.
Oh, hey! What have you been up to?
Prison.
Yeah, I shouldn't have.
What?
I need to use the restroom.
Knock yourself out.
That's the toilet?
Ladies and gentlemen, our next guest today started his career as a child over 35 years ago. When he went to school, he got an education and made his way to Los Angeles since 1999. As such, he became a working actor. You should see his bio, folks. You should see what he's done. This man has done a lot of stuff. When I mean stuff, I mean you're looking at 100. There's a lot. We'll be back with Marcia. We'll get to that in just a second. All I got to say is two things. In this business, you know what they do in this business. We say, not bad, not bad, not bad. He's got over 90, not bad. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Marcus Folmar. Greetings, Marcus, and welcome to the Actor's Choice.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. This is amazing. Great to be here.
You know who that is. You know who that is. That's that Phil guy. Your publicist. Yeah, he talks very well about you. So, as they say, where were you born at?
I was born outside of Detroit. Romulus, Michigan is the name of the city, but I grew up mostly in Denver. My mom's job moved us to Denver, Colorado, about fourth grade, and from then on, I was a Denverite.
Okay. So what was it like growing up in that city?
It was interesting. It was very different than what I had experienced back in Detroit, but I loved just the nature. I loved kind of getting into the outdoorsy aspect of things, and that is where I discovered acting in the arts and really pushed further into that. So I'm very thankful for that arts community there.
Got you. So you did go to school and get an education. That's the good thing.
Yes, absolutely. I did that there, high school in Denver, and then went on to college at Northwestern University over in Evanston, Illinois.
Got you. Reason I asked about the question about the importance of education. I just retired from the school here in Los Angeles, Lexington, Santa Monica College, and I see a lot of people. Some of them not doing too well. Some of them they need to understand. They need, one of the things that I say to them is this little guy right here, that can wow you crazy.
Right.
Even though I do call it the second brain, I do call it that whenever I need it. At my age, I go look at it, but some of them don't even sit down when they're in the class. They don't even write. They don't take notes. I said, excuse me, take some notes, please.
Right. No, we've become very complacent because of it. I always talk to some of my friends about how many phone numbers we used to remember. You had
Yes.
at least about 10 phone numbers that you could rattle off, like mom's work, mom's, dad's work, auntie's phone number, grandmother. But now you're lucky if you know your own phone number.
That's right. So here we go and the year was 2001, and you did your first work as a policeman for a movie called Frasier.
Yes, that was my first. I had done some stuff growing up because I was one of those guys. I actually started as a child actor, but upon getting out of Northwestern, coming over here to LA, Frasier was my first big, I guess you'd say, network booking out here. And they were so kind. I was really spoiled for my first job because everybody was just so nice and welcoming. And I thought that's the way it would always be. It's mostly like that, but not always.
When you first came here to Hollywood, what was it like? Did you get a job right away, or what was it? What happened?
It was about like a 2 year getting comfortable in the city, learning your way around before I even positioned myself to have that agent. Once I got the agent, the job actually came pretty quickly. And I think that's because, again, I had experience with auditioning and had been really doing it professionally since I was a kid. So I kind of knew that part, but it was just kind of getting your foot in the door in this market.
Marcus, thank you for saying that because a lot of people they don't think I'm a star. I'm a star. Yeah. The person told me one time I never will forget this. He said, I said he's a star. I said what's a star? He said rat spelled backwards. I went whoa. STARTS.
Right, right.
And you come to this town, it takes a while. It takes a while. You got to know people.
Yes.
Get an agent, get a publicist, get all these people.
You have to. And I think, the way that this business works, and I'm speaking from, I spent a lot of years coaching actors as well. Not right away, but, after I attained a certain level of knowledge, I kind of figured out a way to pass some of that on.
Yes.
And so one of the things that I'll tell my students and clients is that it's a fear-based business in a lot of ways,
Yes.
meaning everybody's trying to cover their own behind. I want to protect my job. So if you're speaking as a casting director, I only want to put forward someone who I'm very confident is not only going to do the job well, but be nice and be, a joy to have on set. And how can you say that about a person the first time you meet them? Right? And so even if a casting director is blown away by an actor's first audition, they might be, okay, they're one to watch. But before I'm going to really put my heavy endorsement behind this actor or be pushing for them to get this job, I want to know them a little better.
A lot of people, that's beautiful, beautiful. Your attitude is right there. And a few years later, and that would be 2007, you did a movie called The List.
Yes.
But you were a writer and an associate producer. You moved into a new field.
Yes, which was always my intention. I went to Northwestern. My major was actually film production. And within the major there, you spend your first couple years, everyone sort of does the same basics, and then you get to decide what you want to focus on. And I pushed into the writing side of things. I had been an actor, I just mentioned, since a child. So going to college, I just wanted to expand my horizons a little bit, see what else I could do. And I ended up falling in love with behind the camera as much as I love being in front of the camera. So yes, that was a film, The List. I wrote the earliest version of it in college. And then after being in LA for several years, calling myself a writer, hadn't really pursued that part of the business. I switched gears, well, not switched, but just went back to
Gotcha.
focusing on that. And that's where it led me.
Okay. What is the bookie room?
That's kind of what I referred to, my coaching business, the booking room. And the story behind that, you're actually seeing me sit in the original booking room. I sort of started coaching some of my friends for some of their auditions very informally, and they would come work with me in this very room. And I just had a series of times where they left this room, go out and book the job because of the work that we had put in. So
Yes.
they started affectionately calling this room the booking room. And so, after a while, I was like, I'm pretty good at this, not just the acting aspect, which, you can have a lot of people who are great at acting themselves, but they don't necessarily know how to coach and how to bring the best out of someone else. And, once I kind of figured out that that was something that I was gifted in, and I really got a lot of gratification out of seeing other people's success, I started the booking room as an official coaching business.
What inspired you to write your play, Chicken Stories?
Chicken Stories. I'm so excited for the world to see this brand new play. We're premiering in just a little while. August 1st is our first preview on the 1st and 2nd. And then our official opening night is August 3rd. And it's just a series of vignettes that kind of are a snapshot of what's going on in life today and in the world and in the culture, but through this lens of chicken. And I was inspired to write it really by accident. I had just seen a show called Shucked on Broadway, and it's all about corn. And I left New York and went to Philly to visit a friend of mine there. And she had this hilarious story about chicken.
Okay.
It was the second time I got a pretty good memory that she had told me something about chicken. And I said to my friend, you have all these chicken stories. I should write a play called Chicken Stories.
Got you.
And as soon as I said it, it's one of those moments where, the synapses start firing. You're like, wait a minute, I said that as a joke, but chicken being so central to our culture, when I started to look into it and see the role that it's played going way back to slavery and Black culture, and how so many businesses, entrepreneurial endeavors started with chicken, I was like, this is not only something that can be funny, but thought-provoking and very important as well.
Okay. Got a video of one of your work, some of your work. Roll it, Tony.
Let's take a look.
I hate flying too. You can pet Jill if you need to.
No, that actually makes me a little uncomfortable.
Oh no, it's okay. She's an emotional support dog.
A dog on the plane, that's a big dog.
That's a big dog, yes. Yeah. We
Marcus,
had a lot of fun
really
doing
enjoy
that.
what you shared with us today. We're running behind a little bit, but please pass this show on to the Actors Choice as seen in Facebook, or TAC as we call it, and you can see Marcus again. By the way, the gentleman has some excellent stuff that he's got out there. We have Chicken Stories, that's one of them. Got a lot of stuff out there. And of course, your publicist, who is a super fellow, and your works as a good friend, Philip Sokolov. Give him our best. Okay?
Yes, I will do. Thank you so much, Ron.
Come on back again. We're going to get some more out of you. Okay?
I look forward to it.
Okay. This is the Actor's Choice. I'm your host, Ron Brewington. Roll it, Tony.
We call not in vain our ancestors' name. They appear before we call. Indomitable spirits, we too become. Their nurturing blood beats throughout the chambers of our hearts. A communication of inspiration, hope more solid than fear. calling forth the ancestor's name, calling forth the ancestor's name, calling forth the ancestor's name. Brother
Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest today is a multi-hyphenated actor, author, and programming curator. He's also the CEO of Teeth and Eyes Communications, LLC. This gentleman has carved out his own lane in the entertainment industry, including 25 years. That's right, 25 years. And he hasn't aged a doggone bit. Okay? He's 25 years of widely acclaimed work as an advocate and purveyor of James Baldwin. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a longtime friend. I've known this guy a long time. He is the best. Please welcome Charles Reese. Charles, good to see you, brother. Good to see you.
Good to be seen.
It's been a while since we've had you on the show. We got to adjust that. That background, by the way, is looking very nice.
Thank you much. Thank you much. But listen, we're learning a few little things throughout the years. We've come a long way when it comes to Zoom and all these wonderful things. Congratulations. I think we're at what number are we on show-wise? 400 and what?
Right now, 412.
412. Well, 412, 412, 412. If you add it 412 up, it becomes 7.
I think we said, get it back together again. My goodness. Now, where were you born at, by the way?
Born, raised, and potty trained in Washington, D.C., your
Washington,
nation's
D.C.
capital. Yes.
Nation's capital. Wow. I can remember the ladies up there. I can remember the food up there. I can remember Howard. I can remember a lot of things.
I was born in what's called, if people are listening in from Washington, D.C., the Shaw District is where I was born. So I was raised right around the corner from Howard University. It's called the Shaw District, the 400 block of Q Street, Scott Montgomery Elementary School, Shaw Junior High, and McKinley Tech.
Okay. What made you get into this business?
It called me. I didn't call it. That's what I always say. But I have to say, Marcus Faulkner, I enjoy him so much. I was watching the show. Kudos to you for the new work that's coming up. He and I actually worked with Michael Jagway. He was a part of the Web Festival. We had a web show years back. So getting to the question though, what got me into the business. I think that as a young child, they put you in church. I started doing those Easter poems that they give you. And I could remember all the words to them. So they were like, you know what? You may have something. But my 6th grade teacher, Mrs. introduced me to Langston Hughes. And I was at a public school. And so Mr. Hoover taught me how to play the trumpet. And then I went to high school, did a few little things. But it was college that kind of sort of really got me into it. I met a guy by the name of Lamar Alford. I always have to say his name 2 times. Lamar Alford. He was the original cast member of Godspell. And he was my teacher for 4 years, and he introduced me to theater. People like Andre de Shields, Barbara Montgomery, people like Ellen Stewart from La Mama. So I had a very unique situation of how I got called. So I got called elementary, junior high, high school, but college was where I sealed it. I actually went to Morehouse College, but I started as a psych major. But once I met Lamar Alford, everything changed, and here I am today, grateful and appreciative to be able to do what we call something that we love. Or as James Baldwin would say, you don't tell life, life tells you. How about that?
1990, you had your first IMDb credit, Road, Lawyers, and Other Briefs.
Well, actually, that's interesting because that actually was a USC project from a student film that actually sold finally. So I think that was so fascinating that I actually started off in a student film, and that student film ended up going somewhere. You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
Here's another one that you got involved in. It was called Harlem of the South. Remember that?
Yeah, you know what? That's fascinating because A lot of theater companies now are doing a lot of online programming.
Yeah.
And so I remember when I was asked to do that, they requested that I actually do poems for the Harlem Renaissance. So I actually did the poem that you just heard. That's a part of that whole situation. And it ended up being a big fundraiser for a theater company out of Florida that actually was run by a dear friend, Ruben. And it was a bunch of Broadway artists, people on that. So it's really wonderful because these new ways to have online programming is quite wonderful.
You do know I feel good about Harlem. I was born and raised there.
Yeah, yes, I know.
Yes, indeed. There comes a time where there's a guy that you might remember this guy. He's on
Good
number
guy.
47, Tony. This young man is a friend of both of us. You know him. And he's getting him up right now.
Well, I don't think I have to wait for that picture. I think that I have a whole full personal wonderful joy about this person. That has to be Michael Jagway Jr.
What you say?
I'm like, I'm not waiting. Now when you find the picture, no, Michael Jagway Jr. actually is someone that I've known. God rest his soul. He passed away in 2018. So it's been gone now for 6 years. But Michael Jagway, this also takes you back to what Marcus was actually talking about. He was talking about people want to work with people that they know. And I mean, that's a hard thing to like swallow sometimes when you're trying to find your way in any business.
Yes.
But I've known Michael Jagway for almost 20, 30 years before we even got to even work together. So Michael Jagway, it was responsible for me having an actual TV show. He actually wrote me in a web festival and a web show called the web show was called Who. And then I went from the web show to the TV show called Beauty and the Baller. So I officially have the record of being in a web show and making it all the way to the TV show that happened about 7 years ago. So Who became Beauty and the Baller, and it was all created by the late Emmy Award winning, by the way, Michael Jagway Jr.
Man, but it was a pleasure working with him. He was up for a lot of people.
Yes, he did.
Oh.
And I'm one of them. And here's the wild thing about that is that now he's gone. You can watch Beauty and the Baller. We only had one season.
Yes.
You can watch Beauty and the Baller pretty much on a lot of platforms. Amazon, I understand it's now on Peacock. You can find it on YouTube. So that one season of Beauty and the Baller, it'll be on for the rest of my life and the rest of the lives of the people that are on there. As a matter of fact, two of my cast members I did a salon this weekend, which we'll talk a little bit about around my new album. But I had Judy Pace. I just saw her on Saturday at my salon around Baldwin, and Deandra Lyles, who were my two cast members that came out this Saturday. So we still stay in touch with people, and people are moving on and doing their work. So Deandra Lyles has been doing a lot of wonderful work, and I'm so happy about that. And Judy Pace, she's just a living legacy.
She doesn't get old. She does not get old.
Yes.
There's another gentleman that's very close to you. He's on number 47A. We call him James Baldwin.
Hey, Jimmy. Oh, that's a great picture. Look at that. Wow. And then I got him on the other side of me. So yeah, I had the pleasure of meeting James Baldwin. Well, I always look at it like this. I always said I had the pleasure of running into James Baldwin, running away from him because I was afraid. And then I've been running back towards him for the last really 40 something years, because I ran into him in 81, but I started doing my work around him 25 years ago on Off-Broadway. So yeah, Baldwin is kind of sort of my North Star. And this year we're getting ready to celebrate him. He's turning 100 years old. August the 2nd, 2024 marks the beginning of what we call Baldwin's 100th celebration, which will be an entire year. From my vantage point, I feel as the Baldwin Estate vantage point, and most people around the country. We'll be celebrating it from August the 2nd, 2024 to August the 2nd, 2025, because you're 100 for a whole year.
Bless you. Bless you. Define the Charles Reese experience.
Well, that has become my new poetry spoken word name, the Charles Reese Experience. But you're having the experience right now. Um, it is who I am, partly now as a brand, but who I am as a human being. I'm a loving being, but I'm human. I've got my ups, downs, and turnarounds like anybody else. But basically, what my whole mantra is that I create entertainment programs around art and culture, and as a cultural architect for public engagement, that's what we actually do. I build programs that entertain, educate, and engage you into conversation and things around art and culture. So Baldwin has been kind of sort of that North Star. What I really like to say is that I do what's called a Baldwin-esque practice called bearing witness. Baldwin was a young preacher when he started in Harlem in the church, and he said he left the church to go preach the gospel around the world, and said he was bearing witness to really let this everybody know that we are human, we are here together, and that love would be the thing that would probably save us all, good, bad, or indifference.
You know, all of a sudden, you're talking, and I'm saying to myself, today feels like a poem. Roll Tony.
Yeah, it's the while he's pulling it up, it's like it's really the it centers the album that I've actually just put out just a month ago. The album is called James Baldwin and Me, a Centennial Tribute, which today feels like a poem, is the centered poem throughout the piece. So whenever you're ready to hit that, let me know, but I'll keep telling you about the album until that comes. And so the piece that you played at the very top, by the way, is called Calling of the Ancestors. That is how you begin the whole album process. The album works in like 3 different levels. Level 1 is about me meeting James Baldwin, which I just told you about in 81, running from him. Level 2 is really about me playing James Baldwin on Off-Broadway 24 plus years ago. By the way, next year will be my 25th anniversary from doing that piece on Off-Broadway at the New Federal Theater, and I might say the Tony Award winning New Federal Theater, produced by none other than Woody King Jr. And then the third section of the album really deals with what would happen if James Baldwin was a poet, spoken word today. And that's kind of sort of how today feels like a poem, kind of like centers this whole album. So those are the 3 sections.
This is what I call okay for an okay. Roll it, Tony.
Today feels like a poem for James Arthur Baldwin, because the sun is warm upon my skin, becoming Nubian, a cool African vibe, preaching man in the park with no home, no church, cutting across lines of imperceptibility.
Yes.
So now let me tell you about those wonderful little children that are dancing there. Okay. I went to Ghana last year for my 60th birthday, and I was working with an amazing woman from LA who now lives in Ghana. Her name is Dawn Sullivan, and those are Dawn Sullivan's children. And she has a program called Bridge to Africa Connection. And I was there with those young kids. We were opening up and rededicating a library. And that is how we all got together to go and open up a new library. And I became their graduation speaker while I was in Ghana last year. And so kudos to Dawn. We were able to utilize that as a part of a promo, and we're very grateful. And their voices actually are on the CD on a track called The A Train. You will actually hear their voices closing out that poem, and those drum beats, those are actual real beats that we did in real time that we're able to utilize on the project. So I'm very happy to say kudos to Dawn Sullivan and all the wonderful kids in Kumasi. And I got this piece that I have on from Kamasi. This is what they gave me, this actual
Good.
wonderful piece that I'm wearing now.
Very nice. You Emmy Awards?
Sorry?
Any Emmy Awards that you're looking at?
Emmy Awards. Well, I always tell people this. Awards are nice. We
Okay.
like them when they come. But I, at this particular moment, I am Grammy eligible because of this album. I made The Window, and I just had my first listening salon, and we want to give kudos and shout out to Miss Angela Robinson Witherspoon, the wife of the late John Witherspoon. We had a intimate 35 to 50 people at her home during a listening session with Dwight Tribble, who's also on the CD with me. He's my vocal muse throughout, and you'll hear him throughout. My trumpet player was Kenneth Brown II, and my sound engineer. We all got together and had a wonderful evening of just listening, but we did live presentations, and that's what we'll be doing throughout this whole situation while we're getting the nomination, the submission goes in first. And so this is submission time for all of those voting members that are listening now. July the 17th through August the 30th is the submission time. And then once that goes in, the voting happens in October. So I won't find out until November whether or not that is the case. And I will be in the spoken word poetry section, which is a pretty new category for the last couple of years. It's separate of just books and audio things now. The poetry spoken word section is a section all by itself. So kudos to all the people who are putting the submissions in, and we all look forward to seeing who's going to be called on November the 8th. But in the meantime, I've already been submitted for what's called the Voice Arts Awards. So that submission is complete. And the third submission that will be happening is the NAACP Image Awards, which does not come up until October. So this is award season submissions is what's really going on. And I'm very honored to have a product that says I can do that. So instead of an Emmy, we're going for Grammys, NAACP, and Voice Awards at this time.
Charles, my brother, I want to thank you so much for sharing this marvelous information to your audience, especially the Charles Reese experience. Once again, our thanks, and do come back again, my brother.
Sure. Thank you, my friend. 412. Peace. Blessings. That's number 7.
Okay.
All right.
Ladies
Now.
and gentlemen, Charles Reese. Roll it, Tony.
Hi, this is international guitarist John Carey. I am honored to be here on the Actors Choice with Brother Ron. I have a brand new CD out right now. It's called El Fuego Fire. It's a musical tribute to our Afro-Latin music. All original music written by myself with guest vocals by Grammy Award winning singer Anya Garvey Wells. She lives in the UK. It's currently on all musical media outlets. If you would like a signed autographed copy, please contact me at johncareyinfo@gmail.com or Cynthia Busby at busbypromotions@aol.com. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we wish you to tell you about a seasoned musician with over 4 decades of experience in the music industry. Began his career in Chicago. So without further ado, please welcome John R. Carey. Greetings, John, and welcome to the Actors' Choice.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Oh, loud and clear. Now,
Okay, sounds great. Thank you. I appreciate it.
During that first portion, we'll send you a copy of it, and you hear, we can actually hear it.
Okay.
Okay. So
Awesome.
What's going on with what you're doing these days?
Wow, man, it's been pretty busy. You know, my doctor said too busy, but I had to get some things working, you know, and got a brand new CD out that actually came out about 4 or 5 months ago. And this one is called El Fuego Fire.
Uh-huh.
And it's a take-up of, you know, we have Afro-Caribbean roots, you know. And I decided, I have 12 albums out, so I decided, let me do something that brings our culture back to some parts of where we started from.
Yes.
So when you listen to this one, it's a lot of Latin flavor, and I you know, you never know where you get that from. And so it's like, you know, and I read a lot. So I read back on, we all have some Afro-Cuban or Caribbean roots,
Yes.
you know.
Yes. We do a lot of as much things as we can get into. You've been around, you've been busy. You started in Southern California, you've been around, you play blues, you do a lot of stuff.
Definitely. Yes. And I look at my discography and figure out how many, out of all the CDs, I never had a Latin CD. So I was like, well, let me sit down and gather my thoughts together and see what I can do, you know. So that's how that one worked out, and it was doing good. I still got songs that's moving up the charts right now, so which is fine.
Super. Can you give us an idea on what's next for you?
Well, what's next for me is I never did a CD that takes us back to our childhood songs that we listen to. So I got a CD that I'm working on now as we speak, and it's called Grown Folks Music. And it means just that too. It means everything that we grew up listening to, from the Marvin Gaye's to the Motown stuff, you know, the Stylistics, you know. One of the singles that's probably coming out in October would be Stop, Look and Listen. That old famous Stop, Look and Listen by the Stylistics. I'm doing that instrumental, and I'm thinking that's gonna be a winner. So
I see gray hair, and I said he's been around when those records came out.
Oh, I've been around. Yes, indeed. I've got, I think I tell my daughters they're the reason why I have gray hair, because they're now 42 and 40. So yes, I've been around for a while.
Anything else you want to tell? Some positive thinking? You got that one out right now, right?
Well, yeah, positive thinking. That came out a couple of years back. Wow, it's like I said, it's out of 12 CDs. I have a best of CD that you can take out and listen to. Pretty much all the CDs that's out there is on social media somewhere. You just put my name in Google, and you'll find the music. I'm sure the music that you like, you know, including blues and jazz and, you know, R&B and that whole thing. So I try to cover all bases.
John, thank you so much for stopping by. The best to you now and in the future.
Thank you so much, Brother Ron. I appreciate you so much.
A pleasure. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank our sponsors, Harvey Brandman, Photography as an Art, Ron Irwin's Lose Life, The Way to Lose Weight, Larry Buford's Book to the Future, Time Travel Message in a Capsule, State Farm Agent Carla Green, and veteran actor Ron Brownstein's Actor Training Facility and Actor Space. And much thanks to our guest today, Music Department composer Lisa Leon, actor, writer, producer Marcus Folmar, actor additional crew Charles Reese, and musician John R. Carey. The Actor's Choice is professional of B&B Productions. Rudolph Brewington is the president, and Sidney Chandler is our executive producer. Special thanks to our ever-growing audience. I'm Ron Brewington. Be well. Be well. See you next time.